Hello and welcome to this short tutorial on adjusting white balance and correcting white balance problems using Photoshop. White balance problems are very common, but people get very confused as to how to correct them. So I'll attempt to show that here. I'll do it in Photoshop because that's what most people have got. And Camera Raw in Photoshop is very similar to the controls in Lightroom, so the things I show you here will transfer to Lightroom. So I'm going to start with this image here, and I'll just fit it to the screen. So there we are. This is an image taken on my EM1 Mark II in Iceland a couple of years ago, and it looks dreadful, doesn't it? So this was taken with my camera white balance set to a fixed 6500K, I think it was, which was fine for doing a lot of wildlife stuff, but not so good for doing landscapes in Iceland. So that was a bit of a mistake, but that happens to all of us. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just tidying up the image a bit so it's nearer the exposure and brightness that I want. It's best to do this before you start messing around with colour balance, otherwise you'll find when you brighten the picture up that the colour balance might well change and you have to go back and do it again. Okay, so normally with simple colour balance problems, there's a couple of things you can do. You can just take the, under the white balance section down here on the right, you can take the little eyedropper and you can click on it on a greyish sort of area and just go pink, and that's it, done. Now it doesn't work terribly well in this case, and the reason it doesn't work terribly well because it ends up making the snow look creamy. It shouldn't be like that. So we can go back to as shot to reset it. So we need a more considered way of doing this. And one of the things I like to do when I'm doing colour balance is to put some measurements on the image so we can see what's happening. There's a very useful little tool down here called the Sampler Overlay. If you click on that, you get this other bar up here at the top here where you can add a new sampler. So if you click on that, and you'll get an eyedropper tool comes away. Now if I just click on that on a bit I want to measure, it will just drop an eyedropper. It's very difficult to see there. It's just like a little crosshairs with a number 1 in it. And up here where it says number 1, it gives the red, green and blue values at that particular point on the image. So that's quite useful to see what's going on. And I'm going to put another dropper down here. This is a particularly troublesome area, as you will see, because it's bluer down here than it is up here. And that's one of the problems with adjusting this, because if I adjust the colour temperature here by moving from blue to orange, which is the way you'd normally correct the colour balance, it may well correct this top one, but if I go far enough to correct this bottom one, everything else will look ridiculous. So if I just show you, so if I move that one across, and so if you look at the number 2 one down there, the numbers are just getting close together. So it's all gone a bit too much. So we need to bring that back. But if I bring this, when you're looking for a colour balance, in these numbers here, you're looking for them to be very similar, for it to be a neutral sort of tone. So if you look at this number 1 eyedropper, it's 197, 198, but blue is 231. So the blue is very much brighter than the red or the green. So it's the blue we want to tone down. So if we use the white balance slider, but just look at the results for number 1 and just bring it far enough to bring that under control, you can see as I'm moving it, the numbers are gradually changing. And I think I'm only going to go that far to stop it going too creamy. So we've still got a bit of blue, so red is 212, green is 202, and blue is 217. So the red is starting to come up, which is what's given it that sort of creamy tone. So you can even take it back a little bit from there, but it's useful having the numbers to see what you're doing, because this should still be a little bit blue because it is a blue sky and it's snow on a blue sky. So although we're doing correction to the whole image, all we're really looking to do is sort out these brighter areas up there, the main snow area, as to how we want that to look. So we've tamed that really. So the trouble now is, what on earth are we going to do about this one down here, which is still very blue, as you can see. So it's 151, 160 and 195. So the blue's nearly as bright as the top one, but the red and the green are very much lower. So we want to be able to alter the colour balance on a particular shade. We don't want to alter all the colour balance now, although we inevitably will a little bit. And one way you can do that is to come down to where it says colour grading. Now this level of brightness counts as a mid-tone rather than a shadow. And if we go to the mid-tone thing here, you've got this circle with a whole range of colours around it and a dot in the middle. Now we can move this dot anywhere we like in this circle to change the colour cast on the mid-tones. So what we want to do is move it away from from blue, so it's less blue, and move it more towards the yellow or orangey area. So we just click on it, we can drag it along like that. And you'll see that we're altering those areas. So if I double click and bring it back, you can just drag that up. Again, I don't want to go too far because we don't have to completely correct it. We just have to make it better than it was, because the eye naturally expects the shaded area to be bluer. So we don't need to turn it right round to being neutral. So we just need to add a bit. And that's about done it really. So if I double click on it, we can undo it. There it is, rather blue. And there it is, just taking it back a bit so it's not quite so badly blue. And that's probably enough for that image. So the thing about using these controls is you can control the colour balance in either the shadow area, like the dark shadow, in the mid-tones, like these tones, or in the highlights. And you can do them separately. There's a certain amount of interaction between them, but you can do them largely separately. And one of the areas this is often very useful, you sometimes find that the deep shadows go very blue on bright days. And so moving the shadows thing away from blue towards orange or yellow will help correct that without messing up the rest of the image. So there we are, it's as simple as that. So when you're doing overall white balance, if your if your image is too blue, you move the slider toward orange. If your image is too warm, you move it towards blue. Simple as that. The tint you don't normally need to worry about. Tint is usually for correcting unusual colour casts from odd colours. Now you might need to use that if you're doing stage photography, or if you're in a place where there's fluorescent lights or any other odd form of lighting. But if you're into natural lighting, then the chances are you can do all your correction just by sliding the colour temperature slider from side to side. Okay, so I hope that helps, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.